what's going on? Max here, FrozenCPU. Today we're going to kind of do a boring video, one of those videos where you don't get to see my ugly mug, you get to look at stuff on the table. Hopefully this won't be too long. We're here to talk about tubing and a few fittings. I wanted to go over some stuff with soft tube barbs. Get a lot of questions about these, and I think there's some very misunderstood things out there on sizes and compressions, and this is going to be on compression fittings, not so much ID barbs, which is slowly phasing out. Not to say that there isn't soft tube out there. I love soft tubing on my loop, but everyone wants hard tubing now. No one talks about tubing in soft that much. Alright, and I feel like most of the information on the web is based on old stuff from forums. There's not a lot of new info on this, so I'm going to cover, let's see, 4 different brands of fittings, and we're going to go over 3 different types of tubing, well, 4 different types of tubing. We're going to see how they fit and why, and let's get into it.
So soft.
Alright, so right away we have 4 different tubings. This is actually 3 brands. I have over here some Mayhems. Okay, Mayhems does their tubing in millimeters. I have some PrimoFlex, probably the most popular soft tubing on the market. Then over here I have some 2 different Tigons, 2 very popular. I can just tell by feeling, I have the B4 440, and then I have the, I believe this is the R3603, or E3603. I think it's R3603, which I like. And first thing you'll notice on camera, just looking at these, is going to be the different color. The PrimoFlex is very blue. The Tigons almost have a brown tint to them. And this stuff here, which is not well known, the Mayhem's Ultra Clear, love this stuff, is very, very clear. Alright. Expensive wise, the PrimoFlex, I believe, is the most expensive. These 2 are next. Tigon has gotten very expensive lately. This stuff is extremely cheap and good. Highly recommend this tubing. I believe this is only about 60 cents a foot on our website, so check that out. So anyway, what else I wanted to show is the actual thicknesses of the walls. These are all 3/8, 5/8 tubing. And if you take a look, there's the Tigon thicknesses. Even 2 tubes from the same manufacturer will not be just as thick. The big problem with PrimoFlex tubing always tends to be that they run their walls thick. So that's the thickness of 3/8, 5/8 PrimoFlex. Bring up some Tigon, and you can clearly see it. The tube is shorter, and the wall is thinner, and that promotes a problem with a lot of different fittings. Alright, here is the Mayhem stuff, which is actually pretty thick. Here's the PrimoChill, but again, the PrimoChill still has a thicker wall. Alright, so there's some things to consider. How thick is the wall for that brand? How hard is the tubing? You know, how squishable. The 3603 is a very squishable tube. Alright. The 4440 is pretty hard. PrimoChill is pretty hard. And Mayhem's is relatively squishy. It's right in the middle, I would say. We got 4 different fittings here. These are all 3/8, 5/8 fittings. Bits Power, probably one of the most famous and infamous soft tube fittings on the market. Everyone knows Bits Power. One of our brands we have here, you're not going to find these in many other places. These are Barrow soft tube fittings. There's 2 different types of Barrow. We have this version, a little bit different. Maybe the Barrow CH, I'm not sure, but these are some really compatible fittings. I have an old school EK fitting from the old days. These were like the original EK soft tube compression fittings. And then I have one of another brand that we carry here at FrozenCPU that you won't find everywhere, is Bixby. This one happens to be red. Bixby does their fittings in millimeters, alright, kind of like the Mayhem's tubing is in millimeters, but this is the closest thing to 3/8, 5/8. So for the control, I'm going to use some PrimoChill Advanced LRT. Let's go ahead and start with Bits Power. Now if you look on the interwebs, as we say, the interwebs, people pretty much say with Bits Power fittings that they are just not compatible with PrimoFlex. And I kind of tend to agree. Alright, just putting the compression collar on, you know, by itself, without the barb, it's already meeting a ton of resistance. Not a good sign. Alright, let's try to feed the tubing onto the barb. It's incredibly difficult. I mean, I would not want to have to do this inside of a system. Rah! There we go. That's all my strength getting that on. It's not even on all the way. Trying to thread the tubing in. Can't even contact the threads. This tubing is just not compatible with bits. EK. These are kind of a tried and true fitting for most people. Let's try this on the PrimoFlex 3858. Here it is, old school EK in nickel. Very handsome looking fitting. So compression cap fits over the tubing and actually has some slack. So that's a good sign so far. Getting the tubing onto the barb. Hey, it went on pretty easily. Go to bring down the cap. Oh, I'm sensing resistance. Start screwing. And actually, I am able to screw that on. Now, it's not screwed on all the way. In my opinion, you should be able to screw the cap on until there's little to no thread showing. So to me, that's a good fit. Alright. Even more of a rule of thumb, the barb should at least just barely start to show over the top of the compression cap. That's a fit. Don't need to screw them all the way down, but any fitting that goes under tension as soon as you start screwing on the compression cap, not fitting that tubing well. Alright, next we're getting into barrow. I'm going to tell you right now, I've tried this. It does work just barely with these barrow fittings. However, what I'm going to tell you right now, if you're a fan of 3/8 1/2 inch tubing like I am, which is pretty small, but same inner diameter as this stuff, just a little bit thinner tubing, our barrow 3/8 1/2 inch compression fittings fit PrimoFlex perfectly. The 3/8 5/8, I'm going to show you right now, they work, but nothing like the 3/8 1/2. Alright, compression fitting is good. Alright, there's a fair amount of slack. Getting the tubing onto the barb. It is not the easiest. Alright. And then let's go ahead and bring our compression cap up. And yeah, I'm already running into trouble. I can tell you right off the bat that this is not a very good fit. We're going to go ahead and give Bixby a shot. There's a chance this may work. But I think you're seeing a pattern. And the problem is, Advanced LRT is a great tubing. Don't hate me, Primo Chill. I'm not trying to put you down. Or Bits Power. It's just, Primo Chill, your tubing is a little too thick. Guys, it is. In fact, I'm going to go as far to say I've tried many Primo Chill fittings that do not work with Advanced LRT. In fact, just about all of them didn't work with Advanced LRT. So anyway, Bixby fitting. Alright, compression cap working really well. Alright, plenty of slack in there. Go ahead and pop this tube over the barb, which is not proving to be very easy at all. Oof, not at all. Gonna need hot water and a little spit with this one. Alright, so there we go. Tubing's over the barb. Bring the compression cap up. And it's doable. Alright, it is doable, but still in my book it's approaching the side of unacceptable. Alright, it's slightly worse than the EK fitting was. So, out of all these fittings here, out of 4 fittings, really only one of them worked, being the EK for PrimoFlex. So, keep that in mind, folks. PrimoFlex tubing runs extremely thick. What I am going to show right now, though, on camera, we're going to take this same fitting, and we're going to take the same size tubing from, let's see here, let's go ahead and grab Tygon, and we're going to see how this fits with Tygon. Bring our compression cap down, and oh, listen to that sound. You can hear the cap hitting the threads. Alright, so right away, Bixby with Tygon tubing works. Very interesting. So, just as important as what fittings you buy, alright, is the type of tubing. Alright, so anyway folks, I don't want to sit here and waste your time and show you 4 different fitting types on 4 different tubings. I think you're going to get bored pretty quick. So anyway, I just want to say a few words about these fittings and the tubing. Tygon tubing tends to be true to the size, tends to actually be 3/8, 5/8, or 1/2, 3/4 tends to be a proper size. All right, Primo Chill will always run a thicker wall, and it's pretty tough tubing to begin with, so it's going to promote a problem for most fittings. Out of these fittings, the best one here was the EK. Second best was actually the Bixby. All right, strangely enough, 3/8, 5/8 Primo Chill. You go over to 3/8, 1/2 Primo Chill. All right, and all of a sudden, these barrow fittings are the best match for Primo Chill I've ever seen. However, in the 3/8, 5/8, it's pretty much like all the other ones. It's extremely tight. So if you're a fan of 3/8, 1/2 tubing like me, go ahead and grab these barrow fittings in 3/8, 1/2. It's a perfect fit for Primo Chill. All right, so as usual, if you look up on forums, basically people come right out and say Bits Power doesn't work with Primo Chill. It's true, really doesn't. The best size tubing I have found for Bits Power compression fittings, the 3/8, 5/8 Bits Power, is actually, I believe it's 7/16 by 5/8. Fits these very well in all brands. All right. So EK, still the king. It's the easiest fit for Primo Chill. We got the EK fittings. We have all of these fittings and tubing you're seeing here in stock today at FrozenCPU. The Ultra Clear tends to be a very good alternative, especially if the fittings you're buying are ran in millimeters. Go with the Ultra Clear. Try some Ultra Clear. It's cheap and it's a really good tubing. It's much more compatible than Primo Flex. Again, Primo Chill, I'm sorry. I'm not here to put down your company and Bits Power. I'm sorry, I'm not here to put you down. But you guys, Primo Chill and Bits Power, you guys need to fix your stuff, alright? People are having trouble with it. Alright, well anyway, this is Max, FrozenCPU. You have a great day.
Soft. So soft.